Leave the Antiochians and join ROCOR? St. John Maximovitch and Father Seraphim Rose advise Father Paul Baba. First, an excerpt from a letter from Father Seraphim Rose written on November 22nd/December 5th, 1981, that gives context to what Father Paul says about his experience with St. John and Father Seraphim. Father Seraphim writes, "We, of course, are already guilty of many of the sins with which Father R castigates our church. Worst of all, I suppose, the giving of communion to new calendarists. I can see how each priest should be free to do as he thinks best on this question, but for us, I see that we must open ourselves to all the Orthodox who aren't being helped by their own bishops and priests. Recently, we were visited by another Antiochian priest from Los Angeles, and just the fact of our friendship is a source of strength which helps them to struggle more themselves. What the end will be, jurisdictionally speaking, I don't know. But we must have the image of the Russian Church abroad adjusted away from the fanatic party line, which up to now has tried to take over, and whose failure is now becoming evident."
More and more came to St. Herman Monastery. Then I went again with my friend, George, a few months later, now that I'm growing up into the faith. We got there very late at night. I couldn't see in front of me. George is still in the car. I said, let me find someone. He says, go ahead, I'll just keep the car running. Keep the heater on. I'm freezing. I don't know if it's between 11 at night or 2 in the morning, somewhere in there. I had to put my hands in front of me. Couldn't see where I was going 2 feet. Finally, I grabbed something very hairy and I squeezed it. And it was Father Seraphim's beard. He goes, "It is I, Father Seraphim. Hello, Brother Paul. Have George come out of the car and stay in the Tsar's room, the Tsar's chapel, the Tsar's room at the time. It wasn't a chapel yet. We stayed overnight. I went into Father Seraphim's cell. I said, Father Seraphim, I need to talk to you. Yes, Brother Paul. Now you're having questions. I see you're coming along. Yes, I'm trying. But listen, I think I want to join the Russian Church of Abroad Church. Yeah, I want to be old calendar. I want to be with the big guys. I mean, not like that, but I want to join the family of you, and I want to have that traditions, and I agree with it, and I want to go to the church in Palo Alto and be part of that, and they're on the old calendar, the church calendar. And if you could bless me, he says, oh, I don't know if I bless you. Well, my priest, yeah, what about him? He doesn't quite give the sermons like from Mount Athos, you know. Father Seraphim says, don't judge your priest. I don't want to hear you ever judge a priest. No matter what. Does he now give you confession when you want? Yes. Receive Holy Communion when it's always available on Sunday? Yes. Services? Yes. There you are. But if you can't control your passion and your anger and your judgment, then find another place, unfortunately. But you won't find one. Stay with your priest. I have something for you. I said, oh, okay. He gives me this book. Early printing of Archbishop John. Pictures and things, and turned into be the big miracle working book of Archbishop John, later to be glorified as a saint in 1994. And I read this in my cell. And I couldn't stop reading. And I fell asleep with it on my chest like this in the cell. And when that happened, I had a little vision, which you're not supposed to pay attention to. You're not supposed to. It's embarrassing to even talk about it to a monk or anything, because it's not orthodox. You ignore these things right away. But in the visitation that I had of Archbishop John, he says, you think for 1 minute Father Herman Seraphim never cried for you, never prayed for you, never suffered for you, or never concerned for you? They put up with you. And now you want to leave where you come from and have it good? Learn from their example. Go back and help them as they helped you as an Antiochian. I went to Father Seraphim's cell again. Lord Jesus Christ, God of mercy, misericordia. Yes, Brother Paul, we have a new understanding of some things. I said, yes, we do. I'm going to stay Antiochian. Why? Well, I'm embarrassed because I know we're not supposed to talk about this. Go ahead, say it. Well, Archbishop, say it. Archbishop John came to me and basically scolded me to stay here, to stay visiting here and to learn from here, but to remain Antiochian and to bring many souls to Christ. He goes, I go, was that him? He goes, yes, it was. Then I got ordained a priest in Jerusalem in the Holy Tomb. Long story short, I gave up. How am I going to ever be a priest? I couldn't go to seminary because my dad would not allow me to. Something happened to one of my family members, and I had to honor my father and mother that, okay, I will not go there. But I will learn from Father Herman, and we had the monks, and I learned a lot from Father Seraphim and all these books. And I took private classes from instructors, priests, and liturgics and things. And when I came back from the ordination at Holy Tomb, it was at midnight. Because I didn't want to be ordained, I think. I just wasn't sure. But the Archimandrite comes into my room at 10:30, 11, and says, be at the tomb at midnight. Metropolitan Danielle wants you there. I said, for what? I was there for 40 days for a free trip. Just be there. I went to the Holy Tomb that night. He's standing there. He says, what hinders you from coming in here and to have you ordained a priest? I said. And I paused. I said, nothing. I'm at peace. He took me by the hand like a little boy. We walked to Holy Tomb. I was ordained in Holy Tomb until 5 in the morning. I went back, came back to America. I'm in my store as a priest. I went to a banquet, and Father Herman sits next to me. He shows up to the banquet of a new ordained priest. There's about 500 people in a hotel, and I'm at the head table. And he comes to me and he whispers in my ear and he says, Father Seraphim was right. I said, about what? He said, don't tell him. He doesn't want to be a priest, but he will be a priest. We have to teach him. We have to help him. We have to educate him. Let's do all we can. Put all much time. Every time he shows up, more lectures, more books. Explain to him. More counseling, more confession. Keep teaching this young man because he's going to be a priest. And he's going to be caught up like a thief in the night. And at midnight, he will be taken away and he won't be able to help himself because he finds himself so much with the Lord that he will be ordained and allowed to happen. And that's how he'll be captured. And Father says, after hearing what you just said, that's exactly what happened. So, my time spent in St. Herman Monastery helped me in my life, unworthy priest Paul. And I hope to help many souls to continue, not from just a bookstore, but now as a pastor here in West Sacramento. And I carry the teachings that they've had with me for many years. And Father Seraphim still stays in my mind.
Joy of all who sorrow, an intercessor of the offended, feeder of the hungry, consolation of travelers, horror of the storm-tossed, visitation of the sick, protection and intercessor of the